Chalo, today we'll try to understand some of the basic concepts of the geography. In detail, మీకు జరుగుతుంది కొన్ని బేసిక్ కాన్సెప్ట్స్ నేను ఇంట్రడ్యూస్ చేస్తాను. రెయిన్ ఫాల్స్, ఫ్లాష్ ఫ్లడ్స్ ఇవన్నీ మనకి తెలియాలంటే కొద్దిగా బేసిక్ ఐడియా ఉండాలి మనకి సో వీఆర్ స్టార్టింగ్ విత్ ద మెయిన్ టాపిక్ ఆఫ్ ఫ్లాష్ ఫ్లడ్స్. Especially these flash floods are more dominant in the Himalayan areas. You all might be aware, Uttarakasi flash floods. So why these things has happened? Because these things, even if you see during the time of the Kedarnath disaster, you will notice these Himalayan regions are experiencing more and more occurrence of the flash floods. Simply floods, you are aware. Flash floods means within a short span of the time, floods are happening. There is no warning. And why these things are happening primarily in the mountainous regions? There is some specific reasons. Reasons are like, one thing is cloud burst is happening. So we need to understand what is the concept of the cloud burst. We need to understand how the topography is also playing the role that is leading to the flash floods. So understand. See. Flash floods and the mudslides hit Dharavali village, Uttarakanshi, Uttarakhand on August. So 4 deaths, all those things has happened. What caused the flash floods? Primary reasons: heavy rainfall over days combined with the Uttarakansh's rugged topography triggered the landslides and mudslides, sending debris into the rivers, causing downstream flooding. So here the prime factors are the topography, climate change and the geology. Initially they thought it is because of the cloud burst. See, cloud burst means in the short span of the time, according to the IMD. Okay, there is a definition. The definition is in the short span of the time, it should be, let me give you here clearly. Where is it? Yeah. So cloud burst is defined as a 100 mm or more rainfall within an hour, typically affecting regions of 20 to 30 square kilometers. So basically, in the rainfall, manaki oka 6 months, 1 year time period lo padtadi annamata. Oka 6 months time period lo, especially in the areas like Rayalaseema and all. Okay, me snacks ayipindante class meedu focus. Idi anta easy kaadu, idi technical concept idi. Okay, focus. So basically, we are talking about a very serious issue, dangerous topic, cloud burst. UPSC has also asked question on this. So intense rainfall, can you see here? So మీరు ఒక ఏరియాని మీరు అక్కడ క్లౌడ్ నిజంగా బర్స్ట్ చేసి ఒక్కసారిగా ఇంటెన్స్ రెయిన్ఫాల్ కాజ్ చేస్తున్నట్టు ఈ ఏరియాస్ ని మీరు బేసికలీ యూ విల్ సీ ప్రిడామినెంట్లీ ఇన్ ద హిమాలయన్ ఏరియాస్. సో బేసికలీ హ్యూజ్ క్లౌడ్ విల్ బి ఫార్మ్ అండ్ ఇట్ రిజల్ట్స్ ఇన్ ద రెయిన్ఫాల్. వై ఓన్లీ ఇన్ ద హిల్లీ ఏరియాస్? ఇలాంటి క్వశ్చన్స్ మనకి యూపీఎస్సీ మెయిన్స్ లో దే మే ఆస్క్. Why these things? Why these cloud bursts and the flash floods are predominant only in the hilly areas? So for that, we need to understand the concept of the thunderstorms as well. See here, what happens? How the rainfall happens? Basically, you will have everything starts with the low pressure and the convective currents. Consider this area. This is a area. Here you have the parcel of air, or a packet of air on it. Okay, this air is heated. Aa air anadi meer heat chesaru, warm chesaru. Then what happens is, generally whenever you heat things, it will become lighter and it will expand. Whenever you reduce the temperatures, they will contract. When the contraction happens, usually density increases. So they will sink. So it is a natural property. Whenever the warming happens, whenever heat is increased, expansion happens and the wind parcel tries to rise. So it is rising. It will keep rising as long as the parcel's temperature is greater than the surrounding area. If the surrounding, for suppose this parcel's temperature is, let's assume that 27 degrees centigrade, and in the surrounding it is 20 degrees centigrade. So it will keep rising. as long as this 27 is greater than 20. While rising, generally what happens is two things will happen. Basically, as the air parcel is rising, slowly this leads to the process of the condensation. How does the condensation happen? Here you need to understand one more concept of the relative humidity. Air has a moisture. Now this parcel of air has a moisture at its saturation level. That means when it has good amount of the moisture which it considers as a saturation point, it cannot hold beyond this. For suppose this bottle, consider this air parcel is like a bottle of air. So when this bottle is full, I'll consider this as a kind of saturation. How this saturation can happen? Either I am adding more water in this, or second thing, I'll cut the size of the water bottle itself. So when I cut the size of water bottle itself, then it becomes full. Saturation happens, right? These are the only two things. Add more water or reduce the size by cutting the actual size of the water. When this thing happens, the bottle is having the full water. Currently, half bottle, I can add more water or I can cut off the size of the water. This is a scenario. In the same way, in the parcel of the air will also become saturated under the two conditions. Either I am adding more moisture to the or I am reducing its capacity. Now, so these are the two conditions I am talking about. Relative humidity. That's what, to explain that thing, I am coming to that point. So first thing is based on its capacity. Second thing is based on the moisture. So we are talking about the parcels of air parcels ability to hold the moisture. How much moisture it actually has and what is its capacity to hold. This is called concept of the relative humidity. Humidity means simply it is a water in the gaseous state. Then we will call it as a humidity. Whatever the water, the vapor that is present in the atmosphere, it is called humidity. So when the air parcel becomes saturated with this water vapor, then it leads to the condensation and formation of the clouds. Now for you, the question will come, when this thing will happen, sir? So for the clouds or condensation to happen, later on the rains will come. So you are asking me when this stage will come. So I am asking you, so either add more moisture from ocean areas, water bodies are coming, or air laden with the moisture is coming. So with this, the amount of water vapor in this air parcel can increase. Or second thing, I am compressing the capacity of the air so that it becomes saturated. These are the only two ways. So amount of moisture and its holding capacity. When this thing becomes 100, you will get the rainfall. For suppose here currently it is 60%. So the holding capacity is 100. Currently it is having the 60% of the moisture. That parcel of air. Okay, this is the parcel of air, and whatever the moisture it is currently 60%. Then the rainfalls will not happen. It will happen only when it becomes 100%. 100% will happen when you add the moisture or its capacity is reduced. Now here comes the point. When will its capacity change? The capacity changes happens based on the temperature. When the body is hot, warm, the air parcel can hold more amount of moisture. But when the temperatures are lowered, the air parcel will not be able to hold more moisture. This is the simple concept. Now, why are we explaining this thing? We will get condensation and rainfall only when the relative humidity gets 100%. When we were discussing about the various other topics, there also I have given in a passing notice that relative humidity 60, 90, you will come across basically. Generally, wherever you have the humidity more, you will get the rainfall. They will ask what is the relative humidity of that area. So whenever the relative humidity is generally 60, 70, those areas are more prone for the rainfalls. Because 60 to 70, it can easily reach to the 100%. How it can reach the 100%? For suppose here the relative humidity is 60%. That means some moisture is already present in this air. Sometimes what happens is, air is coming from some other areas, from the marine areas, from the ocean areas, more moisture gets added. This is one possibility. Or second possibility is, whatever the air that is there, so it starts to rise for various reasons. It is rising. The reasons we will discuss. There are 3 reasons. Okay, air parcel is rising. In this case, as the air parcel rises, the temperature of the air parcel will be lowered. So because of this thing, the holding capacity of this air parcel, to hold the moisture, will also be reduced. So from the 60% to it will reach to the 100%. So in this scenario, in the previous scenario, here, what did I say? Currently, let's assume the relative humidity is 60%. It has some 60%. Now, the air is being heated. The air column is being heated because of the insolation. Some reason it is being heated. So now the air parcel rises. As the air parcel rises, generally, because what happens is, you will study in the atmospheric pressure. I don't want to get into that deep. For now, you understand. You will study in the climatology. When the air parcel is rising, it will cool down because the amount of pressure that is there on it, it will be lowered. So particles will move apart. Currently, I am putting on you 100 kgs here. Assume that this is atmospheric weight. But as the parcel rises, now here it would be only 80 kgs. So atmospheric pressure is getting reduced. So because of this thing, when the pressure is being reduced, whatever the molecules that are present in this, they will slowly spread apart and heats get distributed. So temperature is getting lowered. Yes, that will happen. So when the temperature is initially this is happening. Initially parcel is heated. Okay, it is expanded. So when it is happening, so what is happening when this air parcel is rising? The atmospheric pressure, the weight that we are adding on it, is getting reduced. So as a result, so we are seeing that particles, the movement of the particles that are there, density is getting reduced and it is getting dispersed. The molecules are getting separated. They are getting spread. So because of this thing, heat is getting distributed and the temperatures are lowered. This is because of the pressure, the weight, atmospheric pressure. Currently you are on the surface, you will have one atmospheric pressure, because you are holding so much of the weight. But as the altitude increases, the amount of weight you hold will be little less. It will not increase, it will less, it will reduce. Okay. So when this thing, the pressure is getting reduced, so this air parcel temperatures will be slowly, it will be reduced. You will study this thing in detail in your geography class. For now, understand, as the air particle rises, the temperatures in it will be lowered. Now, imagining we are having already 60% of the humidity. So when the particle is rising, so there is a possibility that relative humidity can get 100%, because the same parcel of the air, its holding capacity is being lowered. As the temperature, if the temperatures are high, it can hold more and more air moisture in it. But when it reaches here, its holding capacity will be reduced and it can reaches to the 100%. And you will get the rainfalls. These are the scenarios usually in which you get the rainfall. See, rainfall generally you will get in 3 scenarios. First thing is convection. Second thing is orographic. Third thing is cyclonic. So basic condition everywhere is the air parcel should rise. Are we clear? This fundamental aspect. Only when the air parcel is rising, then only you will get the rainfalls. No other case. Why? Only in that scenario, the relative humidity will reaches to the 100%. Okay, the capacity to hold the moisture will be lowered. That concept of holding will be lowered. If the air is sinking, basically reverse will happen. Its ability to hold more moisture will increase. So relative humidity is not going to that saturation level and no condensation happens. So whenever you see the opposite scenario, sinking winds, you can imagine there is no clouds. There is no condensation. There is no rainfall. In fact, there is an inversion of temperature. I don't want to get into all the concepts of the geography. It will complicate the things. Okay? You will come in a structured manner in the class. Do not worry. Madhu sir will deal with it very comprehensively. Don't get worried. So for now, you just understand when the wind is rising, rainfalls. When the wind is sinking, no rainfalls, no clouds, nothing. So here simply remember the logic. Whenever the pressure is low, when the wind is rising, you will get all the conditions satisfied. You will get the scenarios of the high rainfall. First come by order. When the wind is rising, then leads to the state of condensation. When the condensation happens, when the relative humidity reaches to the 100%, then only condensation happens. Condensation means state change from the gaseous to the solid state. Moisture is in the gaseous state, so it will become the solid. So when the cloud has the solid particles, nothing but the ice, when it cannot hold, it will result in the rainfall. Okay, understand this order. So you have a scenario where there is a high temperature. When there is a high temperature, it is causing the low pressure. What happens when there is low pressure? Air parcel is rising. Air parcel is rising. When the air parcel is rising, its relative humidity is, what happens to relative humidity? It will increase. Its holding capacity will be decreased. Why? When the air parcel is rising, temperature decreases in that parcel of air. Temperature decreases in that parcel of air, then relative humidity can become 100%. If this relative humidity becomes 100%, what happens? First condensation will happen. Whenever the relative humidity is happening 100%, then it results in the condensation. Then it leads to the formation of the clouds. Then it will result in the formation of the rainfall. But remember, not every time when the air parcel is rising, you will get all these scenarios. We are giving one scenario. Sometimes air parcel will rise, but you may not be having enough moisture to reach to the condensation, or it has not reached to such a level where RH has become 100%. So it may again come down. So not every time whenever you have the high temperatures, air parcel is rising, condensation, rainfalls may not happen. Even in the cases where you have the clouds, it's not necessary it will also result in the rainfall. In some scenarios, it will result in the rainfall. Yes. For the condensation to result into the formation of the clouds, you need nuclei. Okay, it can be dust particles and all. So this is the condition for the clouds formation and then result in the rainfall. So in these scenarios, generally in the equatorial belt, these kind of scenarios you will see. So whenever you have low pressure, high temperature kind of scenarios, you will have rainfalls, clouds, and these things could lead to the very strong vegetation as well, dense vegetation. And the scenario is opposite. Wherever you have the scenarios of the high pressure conditions, generally in the earth, on the planet earth, there would be some scenarios where always there are low pressure and always there are high pressure. Equator, because of the higher insolation, you will always have the low pressure conditions. So these are the regions known for the heavy clouds. These are the regions known for the good rainfalls and the dense vegetation, which is a evergreen forest. For suppose, always you will have the high pressure at the 30 degrees and the 90 degrees. 90 degrees because of the cold conditions. Polar region, the insolations are low and you will have the cold conditions, and obviously the wind is sinking there. And moisture is also little lower at the poles. Compared to the equator, moisture reduces towards the pole. And as a result, you will not have the rainfalls there. And you might be knowing at the 30 degrees, later on you will know, it is always having the high pressure zones. That's why at the 30 degrees, you will not see clouds and the temperatures are always high. Okay, I have just given you the base. So these are the systems already there on the globe because of those tricellular model and all, which you will discuss in your concepts of the geography. So I have just given you the basic explanation of that principle in order to explain the concept of the cloud burst and the rainfalls. Okay, now are we clear so far? Wind is rising, simple. Whenever we have, even if we forget between things, wind is rising. If the moisture is good enough, rainfalls, clouds, those things will happen. Okay, now see, now let's come back. So such a kind of scenarios, wind rising and all. So we have understood that rainfall will happen only when the wind is rising, condensation is happening, only then it results in the rainfall. Now those conditions will happen in the three scenarios only. This is the scenario of the convection. Convection means that area is under the higher temperatures. For suppose, why do we get the rainfall during the pre-monsoon time period? Especially pre-monsoon summer. So you will see even in the May time period, you will see sometimes pre-monsoon showers. What is happening at that time period? So you will have the higher temperatures. But let me tell you, temperatures are very high, but there is no moisture there. You will not get the rainfall. Somehow, because we are a peninsula. Peninsula means area that is surrounded by the water bodies. So from the water bodies, because of the movement of the air, the water might come into this. This is India. So you have the higher insulations here. So water, because of the wind systems, water has entered into this system. So now the wind starts to rise. So you must have already some kind of relative humidity somewhere around 50, 60, 70, something like this. Already some moisture must be there. Now because of the intense heat, the wind becomes lighter and it starts to rise and causes the rainfall. So what happens with this? So sometimes you will see huge vertical clouds will form, dark black clouds, which we call as a cumulonimbus clouds. So whenever you see such a clouds, so this is causing us a rainfall. So what is happening? The wind is rising, condensation has happened. Okay, now it is not stopping there. Again, you have so much moisture and the temperatures are so high, still wind is rising. So you will see such a level of the vertical clouds. Now for this to happen, two conditions has to be met. Temperatures are very high, moisture is also very high. Only in this scenario, you will see tall vertical clouds and resultance of the huge amount of the rainfall. So what is happening during the thunderstorms is the same thing. So you have very higher temperatures. So because of the higher temperatures, the wind starts to rise. When the wind is starting to rise, you are reducing the pressure, wind is rising. So that's why it will call it as a low pressure area. So wind is rising because of the presence of the moisture. So it will lead to formation of the condensation, cloud formation. But still wind is not stopping there itself. Still the temperatures are high. It will keep on rising as far as, for suppose this parcel is 27 and the nearby surrounding areas the temperature is still 20. So wind will keep rising until the temperatures are matched. Okay. So generally whenever the condensation happens, heat will be again released. You might have experienced this thing. So when we are having the sweat on our face or on the body, when we turn on the fan, you will feel cool, little colder. Why? Because whenever the evaporation is happening, heat is getting absorbed. The water is getting absorbed from the solid to gaseous state. So whenever there is state change, that is called the evaporation, gaseous state. So along with this evaporation of the sweat, the heat is also getting absorbed. Now the reverse process, we are talking about the condensation. Understand? Focus. Here it is a process of condensation is happening. State change from gases to the solid state. Moisture is converting into the cloud. So here again heat will be released. That is the prime reason why you will see the vertical clouds. You may ask, how can be such a higher temperature at such a high level? As the altitude increases, temperatures has to be lowered now, sir. You will ask me. But the reason is because there is such a huge amount of moisture, the condensation happens and heat getting on releasing and it will release. So it will depend upon the amount of moisture that is present in the air parcel. This is making sure how much amount of rainfall you will get in that area. If little bit moisture, some rainfall, gone. Okay, some grey color clouds. Okay, no. Sometimes you will see thick clouds. That means, okay, huge moisture is there. The heat is not going to come down. So this thing, when it is going to happen, now you need to understand. When there is high temperature plus high moisture, you have understood the scenario, right? This is the first scenario. Now in the second scenario, generally this is what happens in our monsoons. Orography. Air parcel has the moisture, but it is not rising because the temperatures are not that high. During the monsoon time periods, you will have generally normal temperatures. But what is the scenario is, when the air parcel is moving, and the air parcel is like this moving, they have met an obstacle. Orography, it means mountain, something structure. Now this parcel of air has no option than to rise, to cross that. So now what is happening? As the air parcel rises, again temperatures will be lowered. So as a result, again holding capacity will be reduced. Relative humidity reaches 100%, and then this entire area, okay, on the windward side, this is the windward side, this is the leeward side, this is the rain shadow, not this one. Okay, this on the western slopes you will get the rainfall. Can you imagine why the Western Ghats have the highest amount of the rainfalls? The entire western part of the India has the Western Ghats almost from the Maharashtra or Gujarat towards the Kerala. So that's why you have the heavy rainfalls in that area, and as a result temperatures also decent. We are the tropical country. That's why we have the tropical evergreen forest in that area. Okay, so basic concept is clear. Now in the third case scenario, generally you will study in the cyclones. In the cyclones, generally on the opposite side, this is the leeward side. Where the wind, this wind will rise, this is the windward side, this is descending. Windward is the side where you are getting the rainfall. On the leeward side is the opposite side, where you are not having any kind of rainfall. Generally our Rayalaseema plateau. Okay, there it is coming to the leeward side of your Western Ghats. That's why you will not have the much rainfalls. So are we clear so far? Still I have not entered into the concept of the thunderstorm or the cloudburst. I am just giving you the basic part. Next scenario is in the scenario where there are cyclones. So these are the special cases where the winds are forced to rise. For suppose generally in the temperate cyclones, there would be a scenario where westerlies are meeting the easterlies. Warm westerlies and cold easterlies are meeting. So when the warm winds and the cold winds meet, generally what happens is cold winds are always dense, warm winds are always lighter. So when they meet, so cold winds, they will lift the warm winds. So warm winds are forced to rise. So as a result, again when the warm winds are rising, you will see the conditions of the rainfall. Now these are the only three scenarios you will get the rainfall. Clear? So far am I clear? Three scenarios. So why the rainfalls happen? Generally when the wind is rising, relative humidity reaches 100%, condensation and the rainfall. This is the framework that we have drawn. So what is the concept of the relative humidity? Whatever the air is there, what is its moisture holding capacity in the air? Now this is for suppose when do you see the rainfalls or condensation here? Not the rainfall always. After the condensation, there are various forms of precipitation and various forms of condensation. Cloud is one form of the condensation. Know it, okay? Sometimes the dew drops you will see, okay, on the water bottle also. Why do you see, for suppose if I have any plastic bottle or any answer bottle here, you will see droplets of the water. Now why that is happening? Moisture is there in this area. Now this bottle is very cold. So whatever air molecules that are coming in contact with this cold air, so again relative humidity is reaching 100% because you are reducing the capacity. Whenever the temperatures are lowered, its holding capacity is reduced. So condensation is happening. But this condensation is different form of condensation. Those are the dew drops that are forming. Cloud is another form of condensation. Okay, just now only understand this much. Don't get complicated, don't enter into complicated things. You will understand these things in a very structured manner in a proper class. The intention for taking this thing is in order to teach you thunderstorm and the cloudburst that is happening there. Okay, so we have understood when the relative humidity reaches 100%, you will see the condensation after that releases to the rainfall. Now we have also understood basically when the temperatures are very high, there we can see the thunderstorm kind of activity where wind can rise. Okay, this would be the scenario. The scenarios where, let's say this is a scenario. Here, pre-monsoon time period, temperatures are very high. What is happening? Wind is rising. As the wind reaches to certain point, at the point at which relative humidity reaches 100% is called the dew point, and here condensation happens and here clouds has happened. But still wind is not coming down because you have a lot of moisture. So like this, the winds are rising and you may see vertical cloud. Huge vertical cloud. Now this is a scenario of your thunderstorm. Cloud has formed. Now what will happen? So here now from this few whatever the ice particles are there, those ice particles become very heavy. From there, because of the heaviness, out of the gravity, the water will start falling down. Same ice particles will start falling down, they will melt and result in the rainfall. This is nothing but one form of the precipitation. Now in the same thunderstorm, in this vertical cloud, you will see lowering of temperatures. Temperatures are getting lower down. So here, from here, wind are trying to rise. So on the opposite side, you are having the precipitation. So it will counter it. So generally what happens in the pre-monsoon showers and all during time period. So for some period, there will be intense rainfall, thunderstorms or say, urumulu, merupulu or say. What will happen? So over a period of time, temperatures will be lowered in that area. Because why? Rainfalls are happening like this. And situation will be gone. Situation will be normalized. This is the normal part of the thunderstorms. These things will get complicated in the mountain areas. Why? You have the mountains like this. In the mountain areas, these winds, whatever these things are getting compensated by like this. Here it will not be there. The winds are rising like this continuously. And whatever the rainfall, they are not able to break that. Because of the structure, because of the way you have the sloping angle. So here winds are just rising vertically. Here there is some angle. So that's why in the mountainous areas winds are moving in this way. So series of clouds keep on happening, and the clouds keep on rising. So this will result in the scenario of the cloud burst. A bigger cloud will happen. Still scientists are puzzled why cloud will wait. It will be a like sudden burst of activity. This happens in the mountainous area. So a huge cloud will be developed and then suddenly rain will start. Condensation, after the condensation will start. In the Hyderabad areas, you will get the thunderstorm activities. Here you will not get such a huge level of the cloud burst. These are very predominant in the hilly areas I am talking about. In thunderstorm, these kind of areas will happen in rest of the India generally. See, we will call it as a cloud burst. Cloud burst can happen everywhere. Okay, that is for the unknown reasons. We are not sure. For suppose even this scenario, thunderstorm, where there are no mountains, winds are rising, and clouds are getting formed. Sometimes, generally, what did I say? In the normal condition, when the solid ice particles become heavy, it will result in the rainfall. But there will be some scenarios, it will go on accumulating, but rainfall is not happening, and suddenly rainfall happens. Generally, this thing will be more stronger in the mountainous areas because updrafts are not countered by the downdrafts. Downdrafts means these are the downdrafts. They are not countering the updrafts. Sometimes because the updrafts are moving this way. They are moving this way, the updrafts. So they are feeding the cloud. The downdrafts are going this way. Here the rainfall may happen, but this is updrafting, is continuously happening. So the cloud size will grow. But what happens in the cloud burst is, sometimes even this part will not start. Unknown reasons. Still we are not clear. Scientists are not clear why this thing accumulation happens and suddenly intense rainfall starts. 10 to 20 centimeters rainfall, more than 20 centimeters rainfall within 1 hour time span in the short period of area, that is called cloud burst. So are we clear? This predominantly happens in the mountainous areas because of this reason. The updrafts, they are not countered by the downdrafts. Usually this happens in the mountains and in the areas of the fronts. In the frontal zones also, you will see the movement of the wind in a similar pattern, where you will not see any kind of momentum from the downdrafts resulting into the formation of the huge amount of the flash floods. Now see, flash floods means we are talking about now the rainfall is happening. If the structure in the cities, for suppose even in the cities we can say it is a flash floods. Why? Because primarily what is happening here, the maintenance of your geology. If I have concrete and hard structure, where will the water flow? So generally in the cities, we are building the concrete structures. We are destroying the wetlands. So the percolation of the water or infiltration of the water in the grounds is not happening. When we have the more amount of the trees, let's say the trees are there, so whatever the water that is runoff is happening, it will be slowed down. And you do not have the concrete roads. Your soil is porous and permeable. So water will enter into this ground. So groundwater gets recharged and even your roots of the trees are absorbing the water. But what are we doing? When we say geology, we are clearing this forest. We are building the concrete roads. We are even clearing the wetlands. Destroy the wetlands. There is no movement, there is no space for the water to travel. Huge amount of rainfalls. These activities like thunderstorms and all activities is happening. So what will happen? Flash floods are happening. Now imagine this scenario is happening in the mountainous areas where these mountainous are having a weak lithology. Later on you will study. This lesser Himalayas and Shivaliks are known for a conglomerate rocks, not the granitic. Conglomerates are the kind of sedimentary rocks, loose unconsolidated rocks. Understand this thing. Conglomerate means loose. You can write loose unconsolidated rocks. Basically sedimentary rocks. Combine all these things. So mountainous area, loose unconsolidated rocks. So whenever the rainfall is coming, so you may think, oh, I know the swimming, I'll swim in this flash floods and all. No. Your rainwater is saturated with all the mud from the mountains. So for suppose from here, whatever the mud is there, so that mud is also flowing with the water. Gone. Okay. So this thing, I think Kedarnath movie, they'll show it in the final scene. Okay, Kedarnath. Anyone watched that movie, Kedarnath? Kedarnath only, Sushant Singh's Kedarnath, I think, movie name. It's a good movie, you can watch. Okay, yeah. So there they will show. So your water has huge amount of the sediments. So this scenario of flash floods, focus, come back. So this scenario of flash floods in the Himalayan region has reason of geographical region, meteorological condition. Focus please. Hello. Geographical, meteorological condition. Then topography. That is the mountain structure that I am talking about. Topography. Then I will talk about the lithology, where I have mentioned the loose sedimentary rock. Loose sedimentary rock. Here I have mentioned about the mountainous slopes. Now here I am talking about the intense rainfall temperatures, which is resulting in the cloud burst or thunderstorms. So all these are playing a role to result in the flash floods. So flash floods it is causing a kind of intense flood scenarios in the short span of the time. They are guided by all the factors. Geographical factor is nothing but the meteorological factor. That means erratic monsoon could be one reason, or the another reason is higher temperatures, wind is rising. So wind is rising. Now this thing is coupled by the topography, sloping patterns. Thunderstorms are not dissipating. Plus added factors of the loose unconsolidated sedimentary rocks. All these things are causing the floods. Usually what happens is, see, generally these things they say, now say this is how generally the mountains are there in your Himalayan regions. Sometimes these clouds will be trapped in these valleys. This is another condition, local condition. Whatever the clouds are there, they will not be able to move. They will be trapped in the valleys. So this is also another reason why you will get the very heavy rainfall in these valley areas. In the Himalayan regions, mountainous regions, in the valleys you will get the heavy rainfall. Why? Whatever the cloud systems that we have spoken so far, they'll get trapped in these valleys, causing the intense rainfall. Okay, so let's revise, just summarize. For the rainfall to originate, first, what is the process for the rainfall to originate? Tell me the first step. Winds should rise. For the winds to rise, what are the conditions? Temperature should be high. Or sometimes when the mountains are there, because they are encountering the orography, then it rises. So winds should rise. This winds rises in the scenarios when the temperatures are high. Temperatures are high, pressure is low. When the wind is rising, automatically pressure is low. Okay. So when the winds rise, only in the scenarios where relative humidity reaches 100%, RH reaches the moisture. That means ability of that air moisture to hold the water, gaseous water vapor, becomes 100%. So that means this parcel of air, I am holding the water vapor, I cannot hold more than this. If I have the space, add more water, I can say. But when the temperature is lowered, my ability will be lowered. So this will depend upon the temperature, right? This depends upon the temperature, the holding capacity of the air parcel. But here the wind is rising. As the wind is rising, temperature is getting lowered. So this results in the formation of the condensation and formation of the clouds, rainfall. More the moisture, more the temperature, bigger will be the clouds. Yes. Now see this diagram. See here, this is what I was talking about. Clouds are getting formed. See here, if you can see the downdrafts, cloud has formed. Now the rainfall is happening. This rainfall is lowering the temperature. If the temperatures are lowered when the wind parcel rises, because of the rainfall, this area's temperature is getting reduced. So if this thing happens, we are cutting the root. The higher temperatures part. So will the parcel rise? No, right? So activity will stop here itself. So this thunderstorm activity cease to stop. Right? So the rainfalls will end. So that is how initial rising, clouds, condensation and rainfall will happen. Temperatures will be lowered and the rainfall stops. This is generally what happens in the pre-monsoon showers. Even if they ask pre-monsoon showers, this is the answer. So let's read. Thunderstorms are the local storms characterized by the swift upward air movement. Read, see. Here itself we finish the content. Focus. Don't get distracted even for 1 minute. Here itself we finished off. Again, after going back home, you don't have to spend much time. Just in 2 or 5 minutes, you can revise the content. You can throw it off once and all. Okay. So thunderstorms are the local storms characterized by the swift upward air movement and heavy precipitation, including the rainfall, hailstorms. Now these are all the forms of the precipitation. Okay. Once the cloud is formed, it can be different forms of precipitation. So hailstorms, big ice. Sometimes when you are going out, okay, when the rainfall is happening, you will feel like someone is hitting you. Okay, right? అనిపించిందా ఎప్పుడైనా గట్టిగా ఒకసారి కార్ కూడా పగిలిపోతాయి. దోస్ ఆర్ హెయిల్ స్టార్మ్స్. ఐస్ గడ్డలు పడతా ఉంటాయి అనమాట. గట్టిగా పడిందంటే సో మనకి పగిలిపోద్ది. సో డిఫరెంట్ ఫార్మ్స్ ఆఫ్ ద ప్రిసిపిటేషన్. పై నుంచి కింద పడేటప్పుడు టెంపరేచర్ హై ఉంటే కరిగిపోయి యూ విల్ గెట్ ద rainfall. బట్ టెంపరేచర్ కరగల ఐస్ క్రిస్టల్స్ కింద పడతా ఉంటాయి. సో దోస్ ఆర్ కాల్డ్ ద హెయిల్ స్టార్మ్స్. సో ఇలా స్క్వాల్స్ అంటే సిరీస్ ఆఫ్ క్లౌడ్స్ ని మనం స్క్వాల్స్ అంటాం. టెక్నికల్ వర్డ్. ఓకే, accompanied by the thundering and the lightning. Okay, so ఎలా చూడండి, 3 essential ingredients are required for the thunderstorm. Moisture, rising unstable air, lifting mechanism. ఇదేనా నేను ఇందా చెప్పింది. లిఫ్టింగ్ ఖచ్చితంగా మెకానిజం కావాలి. ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ ఎందుకు రైజ్ అవుతుంది? బికాస్ ఆఫ్ ద హైయర్ టెంపరేచర్స్. When the temperatures are high, wind starts to rise. Or any lifting mechanism, orography. Mountain, it has come in the way. So lifting mechanism, it has moisture and it has rising unstable air. Air that continues to rise when given a nudge. So this will result into the regular thunderstorm. Sometimes severe thunderstorms might happen. It includes phenomena like cloudbursts and the tornadoes. We will see that. The sun heats the earth's surface, which in turn warm the air above it. When this warm surface air is forced to rise due to the geographical features like hills or mountains or areas where warm or cold or wet or dry air masses meet, it continues to rise as long as it remains less dense and warmer than the surrounding air. So whenever there is a high temperature or whenever there is any mountain, this parcel of air will continue to rise as long as the parcel of air temperature is higher than the surrounding air. As the air rises, it transfers the heat from the surface to the upper atmosphere through convection. The water vapor it contains cools, releases heat, condensation. Now see here, whenever the condensation happens, the water vapor is releasing the heat. Evaporation happening, water vapor is basically absorbing the heat. Here, condensation process, heat is getting released. So again, heat is maintained and again it keeps rising. So the more the moisture, the more will be the vertical clouds. Generally, you will see such a huge amount of moisture in the ocean areas. That's why in the tropical cyclones, when the tropical cyclones are formed, you will see such a huge level of the cyclones, huge level of the clouds in the entire world, covering the entire ocean area. By the time they come to the land, moisture is getting cut off and they will die. So that is a different topic. See, in the colder regions, ice particles form from freezing liquid droplets. These particles can grow by condensing vapor and by collecting the smaller, those things, condensation happening, the smaller ice crystals getting condensed and they will grow in size and they will become bigger ice particles. When these ice particles can slip and fall down as a result of in the form of the rainfall. So this is the developing stage. Finally, see here, the gust front moves out from the storm. Why this thing is happening? See here, the updraft means convective current feeding the storm, but precipitation begins to fall, creating a downdraft. Downdraft means whatever the ice crystals, rainfalls. So here, rising wind system, downdraft, updraft, downdraft. The downdraft and rain cooled air spread out along the ground, forming a gust of wind or line of gusty winds. That means cold winds. This stage is marked by the moist intense weather, including the hail, heavy rain, frequently lightning, strong winds. Eventually, the updraft is overcome by the downdraft, leading to the next stage. Finally, thunderstorm will disappear. Remember the concept as it is. Generally, they may ask pre-monsoon shower concept, thunderstorm concept. Okay, this is the scenario. Simply, wind is rising, very easy, nothing complicated. Simple process. Wind is rising. This is a generally when we say thunderstorm, it is a 1 hour 2 hour activity. It will not happen continuously. 1 hour 2 hour heavy rainfall, especially during our pre-monsoon time periods, huge rainfall and it will go. Generally, when the temperatures are very high, these are the scenarios. Now see. Now we are talking about the cloudburst. Can you see here? You will see when the image, like this, something, the cloud is getting bursted and huge water, whatever it is holding, is coming down. This scenario happening because their downdrafts are not initiated. Updraft is going on and feeding the cloud. Downdraft, even if they start, they are not able to start the updraft because here you have the mountainous structure. Winds are rising this way and rainfall is falling in this way, uninterrupted manner. So the cloud becomes very huge. For unknown reasons, we do not know why the cloud waits till then. Okay, and finally it breaks and it causes a huge rainfall. This is the concept of the cloud burst. See, a cloud burst, you need to remember the IMD definition, defined as 100 mm or more rainfall within an hour, typically affecting regions 20 to 30 square kilometers. In the Uttarkashi area, they said that is not a cloud burst. In the Uttarkashi area, they said it is not a cloud burst. You have not got such a huge rainfall. Usually in such a rainfall conditions only, you should get the flash floods and huge disaster. But in the Uttarkashi, without this thing, you have met a disaster. See, there another thing I have seen is Cartosat-2. What is this Cartosat-2? In the news it has come. Do you remember Earth observation satellites? We have discussed about this. They are observing the Earth surface, resources, Earth surface and all. One example is Cartosat satellite. Now see, they have taken a pictures. ISRO's Cartosat Earth observation satellite, they have taken a pictures. They have given it to the people. Okay, now when they have seen the pictures, they have seen one thing. Let me show you. This is what has happened is. See, for suppose, see, generally when the river is flowing, what happens? River flow like this. This is the concave part. Okay, so concave part, when you sit inside, then you will see it as a concave part, and this is a convex part. The bulging part is a convex part. Here you are. So generally river causes more erosion when the river is moving. It causes more erosion here, and then it will hit this part. This part is more erosion, and this part is more deposition part, the opposite side. Okay, this is a more deposition. This is the erosion part. Again, it will go like this. It will hit here, erosion. So usually, if you have to do the settlement, if you have to construct a home, where will you construct the home? In the part of the erosion or in the part of the deposition? Generally, where the river is more cutting and entering into the field, will you do the settlements here, or where the river is not intense, it is slow? Here will you do at the 1 or 2? Ideally, it should be 2, right? Right, Ashrit? Ideally, this should be 2. But Cartosat image has shown whatever the settlements that got damaged, they have made it here. They were all the huge settlements here. Now, who has to be held accountable in the Uttarkashi? So, whatever that is a mountainous area, along with the rainfall, huge amount of the mud, with the river, now this has hit this part. This part, entire city got destroyed. There should not be any kind of construction there. Poor urban management. So, there is no one reason. See, now when you write this kind of analysis, will you not get very high marks? You are adding content from the current affairs, you are adding theoretical part of the geography, and you are updating the content. Definitely, you are bound to get huge marks. Like I am talking with the people who are writing the mains and all. Like what one challenge I face is, they are not updated with the current affairs. Theory part, they are by-hatting, but not updating the current affairs. Okay, you will not get the very high marks if your current affair is not updated. When the evaluator will check this thing, what Cartosat has said, the recent thing, he will be impressed. The old man. He'll think. Okay. So this is the reason how it has caused a destruction there. Okay. So thunderstorms, are we clear so far? Now this is a cloud burst. See, a formation of the cloud burst. A strong updraft of the current of hot air prevents the condensed raindrops from falling to the ground. Okay. These raindrops continue to rise and increase in size while smaller drops form at the lower depths. Large amount of the water accumulate in the atmosphere and are suddenly released. This is what I said. Usually, these downdrafts, the scenario, see here, in this diagram. See, these are the downdrafts, the rainfall. When the wind is trying to rise, it has to be blocked. But there you will not see such a block. So simply, they are continue to rise. They are continuing to grow. Large amount of the water is accumulated in the atmosphere and are suddenly released as a precipitation when the upward current weakens and the cloud can no longer hold. So when it can no longer hold, we do not know. Scientists still did not get the clarity why this thing is happening at circular stage. Huge size is becoming big, and finally rainfalls are happening. These are the Noted things. So forecasting cloudburst events is highly challenging due to the localized nature of the phenomena. The small areas affected and the need for granular tracking making it very difficult to affect. So same thing. Okay, see here, mountainous terrain. The topography of the mountainous regions can enhance the lifting of the moist air. That's what I said. Now you understood why in the hilly areas you will get the more cloudburst. So these sloping areas, they are playing role in the lifting up of the upper drafts without coming in contact with the down drafts. Okay, so effects, flash floods, sudden intense rainfall can lead to the rapid flooding, causing significant damage. That is what has happened. So we need to have the localized things. In the valleys areas, we need to track. If there is huge amount of winds are rising, if the clouds are piling up, we need to check. Suddenly, summer season, you would not even notice. In 1 hour, suddenly dark clouds will form and rainfalls will happen. Same scenarios even in the mountain areas. You will not even imagine, you will see within the valleys, all the clouds are getting trapped. In the Chamoli district of the Himachal Pradesh, what has happened? Okay, see. So this was your mountain valley. So in this valley, your clouds get trapped. For suppose somehow they entered here and they are not able to move here or here. These becomes bigger in size. మీకే లాస్ ఫోకస్ మీకే మిస్ అవుతుంది. నాదేమంటే క్లాస్ చెప్పుకుంటే నేను వెళ్ళిపోతా. నా కంటెంట్ గురించి నాకు కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ ఉంది. మీకే లాస్ అవుతారు. Condensation and the rainfall. This is a one prime reason. See, intense. I need intensity from you. So, మన intensity, whether success thing అది పక్కన పెడితే మన intensity ఎలా ఉండాలంటే ఏదన్నా పని చేస్తుంటే అవతల కాంపిటీషన్కి మన ఇంటెన్సిటీ చూసి అమ్మో కాంపిటీటర్ పక్కన వీడు అన్న ఫియర్ రావాలి మన ఇంటెన్సిటీ చూసి. ఓకే, దట్ లెవెల్ ఆఫ్ ఇంటెన్సిటీ మన ప్రిపరేషన్లో కానీ వాట్ ఎవర్ యూ డూ దట్ షుడ్ బి రిక్వైర్డ్. సో ఆ ఇంటెన్సిటీ ఆ లెవెల్ దట్ కమ్స్ త్రూ ద ఫోకస్, high intensity that is required. Okay, so I want you guys to develop that level of intensity. That is very important from all of you. That is expected from all of you. Okay. See, Uttarakhand cloudburst, the Kedarnath disaster was exacerbated by the cloudburst, leading to the massive flooding and the landslides. So, are we clear about the cloudburst, thunderstorm and the cloudburst? Are we clear? So far, 2 topics. So, see, next time in the news, I am not going to take up. Mali newspaper cloudburst వచ్చింది మళ్ళీ ఇదంతా మనం చేయం. Why I am spending more time? Almost 1 hour I have spent on the simple topic of the thunderstorm and the cloudburst. The reason is these events keep repeating. But once we have prepared content, we don't have to get into that explanation again and again. Okay. Now link it to the again recent aspect. So I am expecting this question. If not this year, next year at least I am expecting a question why such a kind of scenarios are happening there. Uttarakashi. See, flash floods and the mudslides are this thing. So primary cause, heavy rainfall over days combined with the Uttarakhand's rugged topography triggered the landslides and the mudslides. That's what mountainous area, hilly areas. So why, if I ask you, you guys tell me. No, you guys tell me. Do not look at the content. Why hilly areas, especially Himalayas, are more prone to the flooding? You guys tell me at least 5 points. Okay, first thing is a orography. So here I will say topography, which may result in the orographic rainfall. Topography, which can result in the orographic rainfall. What else? We will come to the man-made factors later on. For now, tell me the natural factors. We will come to those factors, man-made factors later on. Those are very easy, we can easily add. Tell me, this is the first factor, topography. Okay. In the same topography, here we are talking about the mountain. Another thing, we can also talk about the slope. Slope playing the role in formation of the cloudburst. Okay. So these are the updrafts will not be countered by the downdrafts. Okay. So the slope, they play a role in They play the role in formation of, you can write simply the formation of severe thunderstorm. Play the role in the formation of severe thunderstorm, which is nothing but your cloudburst. Severe thunderstorm. Okay. Then valleys. What point I have explained about the valleys? Very good. Chamoli district, Himachal. Example, you had Chamoli district, Kedarnath time period. Okay, Chamoli district of the Himachal Pradesh during the Kedarnath disaster has received the huge clouds bursts because clouds get trapped. Clouds get trapped in mountain valleys, causing intense rainfall. So we have, you can see, so we have added one thing, 1 point. Within the one, we have added the totally 3 sub points. Okay, now we add more points. I'm talking only about geographical, based on what we have discussed. Add more points. We have discussed few other points. Online students, add more points. Anjali, Chandu, Srija. What else we have discussed? చెప్పాల్సిందే టిక్ 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 అని ఫోన్ ఎవరు ఎప్పుడైనా చేసింది డిస్ట్రాక్షన్ చెప్పాలి. We have discussed హిమాలయాస్ ఏరియాస్ లో ఏం కైండ్ ఆఫ్ రాక్స్ ఉంటాయని చెప్పాను. వాట్ రాక్స్ did I discuss? So we say that is a geology. Use the keywords geology. Okay, రాక్ స్ట్రక్చర్స్ మనం జియాలజీ అంటాం. ఆ ల్యాండ్స్కేప్ ని మనం టోపోగ్రఫీ అంటాం. అక్కడ కనబడే ఆ ల్యాండ్ ఏరియాని ఓవరాల్. ఓకే, టోపోగ్రఫీ ఇస్ ఏ స్మాల్, వెన్ మనం పెద్ద ఏరియా గురించి మాట్లాడితే ల్యాండ్స్కేప్, ఆ ఏరియాలో ఎలాంటి స్ట్రక్చర్స్ ఉన్నాయి దాన్ని మనం ల్యాండ్స్కేప్. స్మాల్ ఫార్మ్ లో మాట్లాడితే టోపోగ్రఫీ అంటే ఆ మౌంటైన్స్, ప్లాట్యూస్, వ్యాలీస్, ఆ స్ట్రక్చర్స్ ని, మార్ఫాలజికల్ స్ట్రక్చర్స్ ని వి కాల్ యాజ్ టోపోగ్రఫీ. బిగ్గర్ లెవెల్ లో మాట్లాడాలంటే ల్యాండ్స్కేప్. ఓకే, సో జియాలజీ అంటే రాక్ స్ట్రక్చర్. లెస్సర్ హిమాలయాస్ అండ్ ద శివాలిక్స్ హ్యాస్ conglomerate rocks. Conglomerate rocks. Conglomerate rocks, which are prone to erosion. Conglomerate rocks which are prone to weathering and erosion. Weathering అంటే వన్ లైన్ లో ఏంటిది? వెదరింగ్ ఏంటి, ఎరోజన్ కి డిఫరెన్స్ ఏంటి వన్ లైన్ లో? ఇన్ సిటు. ఎరోజన్ లో దెర్ ఈజ్ ఏ ప్రాసెస్ ఆఫ్ ట్రాన్స్పోర్ట్. రాక్ ఇక్కడికి ఇక్కడే ఇరిగింది, ఇక్కడే మొక్కలై పడింది, దట్ ఈస్ వెదరింగ్. ఇప్పుడు ఇది నీళ్ళలో కొట్టుకొని వెళ్తుంది, దట్ ఈస్ ఎరోజన్. వెన్ దెర్ ఈజ్ ఎలిమెంట్ ఆఫ్ ట్రాన్స్పోర్ట్ దట్ ఈస్ ఎరోజన్. సింపుల్ వన్ లైన్. వెదరింగ్ అండ్ ద ఎరోజన్. యాడ్ మోర్ పాయింట్స్. సో వీ హ్యావ్ యాడెడ్ మోర్ పాయింట్స్. ఇంకా మెటీరియలాజికల్ కండిషన్స్ ఆల్రెడీ యాడ్ చేశారు. మెటీరియలాజికల్ రీజన్స్. This region is close to 100 centimeter iso height. This region is close to, మీరు తర్వాత rainfall distribution లో చదువుతారు. Lesser Himalayas and Shivaliks come parallel to the 100 centimeter iso height. Iso height is a line basically equal rainfall ఉండే ఏరియాని డివైడ్ చేస్తాను అనమాట. సో 100 centimeters is a good rainfall zone. So this region is close to 100 centimeter iso height line. Okay. And later on you will study western disturbances. Western disturbances, they are nothing but the cyclonic rainfalls that are causing the rainfalls in the northwestern India, especially Kashmir, Idanta area. So you will study in detail in the geography western disturbances. These western disturbances also bring the rainfalls in India. Okay, in the western part. So these areas are also affected by the western disturbances. These areas are affected by western disturbances. They will bring the rainfall basically. They are nothing but the temperate cyclone. Next most important point, which I have not added. Presence of lakes, huge glacial lakes. The mountain areas, all these areas have the most important lakes called tan lakes. Tan lakes. Basically, how it behaves is, so paina mottam you will see the upper area is covered by the ice surface. So like this, you have a solid ice surface on the top. Beneath this thing, there will be sagging of thing happens. As there will be the layer gets sagged, and this slowly this ice gets melted, and in this sagged area there will be water. So the upper layer you will have the ice structure, but you will not notice that there is a huge amount of lake beneath this glacier. Some earthquake, something, some human activity, some disturbance, or some rainfall, some landslide. These lakes causes huge flash floods. Okay, presence of the tan lakes. It will break just like your dam breaking. Okay, so here in this sagged area, the water is trapped. You will not even notice. When you see from the top, everything looks like a kind of glacier, but beneath it, there can be a very huge lake. This is called glacial lake outburst. That is also another thing. Those are the another type of the lakes where they are trapped by the moraines. Moraines are the loose unconsolidated sediments. They are present in the outburst plains. Even they can break and cause these are the two types of the lakes that causes the glacial lake outburst. Glacial landform. Glaciers lone paina it is covered by the glacier, and here under beneath it lakes get trapped. Are we clear so far? అందరికి అర్థమవుతుందా? 70-80% అర్థమైనా ఫైన్, ఎందుకంటే మిగతాది టెక్నికల్ థింగ్ మళ్ళీ జాగ్రఫీలో జరుగుతుంది కాబట్టి 70-80 టెక్నికల్ థింగ్, కరెంట్ అఫైర్ పార్ట్ కాదు, టెక్నికల్ ఆస్పెక్ట్. 70-80 ఇస్ క్లియర్. బేసికలీ 100 అయిపోవచ్చు. ఐ ట్రై టు యాడ్, బట్ ఇన్ కేస్ హెవీ అయితే రికార్డెడ్ థింగ్ మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి వింటే మీకు క్లారిటీ వచ్చేస్తుంది. అండ్ మళ్ళీ వింటారు కాబట్టి జాగ్రఫీ మీకు చాలా థ్రెడ్స్ కనెక్ట్ అయినట్టు అనిపిస్తుంది జాగ్రఫీ క్లాస్లో. దేర్ యూ విల్ స్పెండ్ మోర్ టైమ్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్ దిస్ కాన్సెప్ట్. లైక్ ఐ సెడ్, కరెంట్ అఫైర్ ఫ్యాకల్టీ విల్ హ్యావ్ మోర్ లిబర్టీ, కొద్దిగా ఇంకా ఫాస్ట్గా వెళ్ళడానికి. ఓకే, టు లింక్ ఇట్ విత్ ద బేసిక్ థింగ్. దేర్ సర్ విల్ టేక్ మోర్ ఇన్ ఎ ఫండమెంటల్ మేనర్. ఓకే, సో ఓకే వెయిట్, ఇది మొత్తం యాజ్ అ కాంప్రహెన్సివ్ ఫినిష్ చేయనివ్వండి. You will not come to this thing again. Okay, notes properly prepare చేసుకోండి. Comprehensive means లో ఇది వేసేసి వస్తే you will get the very high marks. That's it. No need to prepare again. You will see numerous things keeps on coming about this thing. Okay, we don't have to spend again time. Done and dusted once and all. Like black money, money laundering. Okay, glacial lake outbursts, floods, all these things done and dusted. And if my paper మీద ఎవరైతే రాస్తున్నారో ప్లీజ్ నాకు ఇవ్వండి. Okay, those things whatever I generate the content in the class, share it with me. Okay, so now again here in this area, these areas are known for your plate tectonics, weak lithology. Okay, this point can be also mentioned here in the lithology itself. Okay, in the topography itself, here we can mention, or we can mention another point, weak lithology you can mention. Lithology. Okay, structure, arrangement and the composition is called the lithology. Okay, so basically we are talking about, so this is the area. Okay, or else you can instead of use the word weak structure. Okay, so this area is known for, this area is on convergent plate boundaries. Convergent plate boundaries. Now you add the man-made factors. Indaga nenu maatladina poor urban planning. Okay. Construction of the dams, roads, putting heavy pressure on the infrastructure. Okay, you can add man-made factors. First important point is, the main factor, man-made factor, indaga nenu cheppanu chudandi, on the concave side of the meander. You can write down మర్చిపోతారు, possible అవ్వదు. Even నేను అది రాసుకుంటాను. Okay, so man-made factor. Recent cartosat images show, recent cartosat 2 images have shown. అదే ISRO's cartosat, Earth observation satellite. We have so many Earth observation satellites. So cartosat 2 images have shown planning has done on the concave side of the meandering river. Planning of cities have been done on the concave side of the river. రివర్ లోపల కూర్చొని చూడాలి. అరే నిజంగానే ప్రెసెంట్ ఉన్న కాన్కేవ్ స్ట్రక్చర్ అనుకుందాం. ఓకే, ఇట్ మే చేంజ్ ఇన్ ద ఫ్యూచర్, దట్ ఈస్ పాసిబుల్. ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ ఓకే, సో హియర్ ఐడియలీ దేర్ షుడ్ నాట్ బి ఎనీ సెటిల్మెంట్, బట్ సెటిల్మెంట్స్ హావ్ బీన్ మేడ్ ఆన్ ద కాన్కేవ్ సైడ్ ఆఫ్ ద రివర్. యూ కెన్ డ్రా మైక్రో డయాగ్రామ్స్ మనం వేస్తాం ఎగ్జామ్ లో. జస్ట్ విల్ షో ఇన్ ద బాక్స్, నేను ఇక్కడ పక్కన వేసి, ఓకే, ఐ విల్ షో దిస్ థింగ్. ఇదే బాడీని అక్కడ నేను చూపించవచ్చు. యాజ్ షోన్ ఇన్ ద ఫిగర్ 1. వెరీ గుడ్. యాజ్ షోన్ ఇన్ ద ఫిగర్ 1 కాన్కేవ్ సైడ్ సెటిల్మెంట్ చేసాం. Then see, there is a lack of coordination between one of the another coordination issues. You can write down the coordination issues. This is very crucial point. Coordination issue. Generally ఏమవుతుందంటే సెంట్రల్ వాటర్ కమిషన్ విల్ మేనేజ్ ద డ్యామ్స్. IMD చెప్పాలి. IMD సెంట్రల్ వాటర్ కమిషన్, వాటర్ ఇన్ఫ్లో పెరుగుతుంది, there is going to be huge rainfall, reduce slowly the dam's capacity, open the gates, let the water flow. Okay, there should be coordination between the which two bodies, IMD and the Central Water Commission, which is managing the water flow in the dams. Who will lift the gates? Who will close the gates? Who will manage the dam? Central Water Commission. Coordination between these two have been missing during the Uttarakhand floods. Coordination between, other in the point, IMD and the Central Water Commission has been missing. Example రాసుకోండి. డ్యూరింగ్ ద విచ్ ఫ్లడ్స్, ఐ థింక్ ఇక్కడ ఇచ్చాను నేను. ఇది ఉత్తరాకాశి, దిస్ వన్ ప్రీవియస్ థింగ్ అది జరిగింది. అది సో ఫర్ కేదార్నాథ్ డిజాస్టర్ టైం పీరియడ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ దేర్. In 2013 Kedarnath disaster, Central Water Commission did not open the Tehri dam gates in time because it did not receive timely flood warning from the IMD. That's it, we are done. So now if they ask any question on this, you will be in a position to answer. Cloud burst adagani, you are ready. Thunderstorm adagani ready. Himalayas lo enduku more flash floods vastani ready. So you are prepared on the dynamic topic as well as the static topic. This is how your preparation should be. Okay. సో బుజ్జి టాపిక్స్ ఏముంది, ఈజీగా మనం టైం స్పెండ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. ఇవన్నీ ఏముంది, ప్రియా విహార్ టెంపుల్, ఓకే, శివా బేస్ టెంపుల్, థాయిలాండ్ అండ్ కంబోడియా ఆర్ ఫైటింగ్ విత్ ఈచ్ అదర్. ఓకే, సో యూ నీడ్ టు సీ థాయిలాండ్ క్యాపిటల్ బ్యాంకాక్, Cambodia capital Phnom Penh. Okay, you need to have the clarity. This Laos, L for the landlocked, and here you have the coastal area Vietnam. Okay, so now see here. So just have an idea. Built by Khmer Empire. Okay, this is called the Kher architecture. Khmer or Kher architecture ఏదో ఒకటి దాన్ని అలా పిలవండి. 11th century Hindu temple. ఈ area is called as a Dankrek Mountains. You have the Dankrek Mountains. So basically that the temple was recognized as a site of the Cambodia. ఈ ఏరియా ఏంటంటే ఇంత ముందు when during the colonial times it was under the French. It was a colony of the French. They have drawn the map. Generally all these colonial powers, be it Britain, France, they have ensured that these countries fight together. While leaving, they have drawn maps in such a way which can raise the controversies for the future. They have drawn scale kind of maps for the Africa, even more disastrous. They have created a controversy recognizing the temple for the Cambodia, okay, which the map is being not accepted by the Thailand. Okay, and this site is also recognized as a World Heritage Site. And so there is always clashes between the Thailand and the Cambodia. They can ask as simple as what is this Priya Vihar temple is conflict between which, or they may ask, okay, what is the like features they have? Shiva temple, same like generally we have in Indian temples, you have the Nandi also here. Okay, so these are the certain features that we need to have and clarity about. That's why I have given here. See, historical claims. Cambodia as a Khmer Empire's successor, cultural work they have built it. Okay, through the Cambodia. In the 1962, ICJ, International Court of Justice, awarded the temple to the Cambodia based on the 1907 map. This 1907 map, same thing. While the French was there, they have used the map to delimit the boundaries of the Thailand and the Cambodia. There, using that map, they have placed it in the Cambodia. That's all. So just know this much. So the scenario has become very intense. So they are that is bringing the nationalistic stand and all. Okay, so far it is clear. Just this is a very factual thing. You need to have that clarity. Okay. Now another bigger topic. Before I get into the very comprehensive topic on the groundwater, let me take any small topic. Today I am focusing more on the geography and all. Okay, in the next session I will focus on the IR related aspect. Let me take some simple topics before I pick up the bigger one. Okay, see here. Simple factual thing, Intergovernmental Negotiating Committee on the Plastic Pollution. Just like we have a global treaties on the climate change, global warming, we have various climate treaties on the protection of the biodiversity and all. So we have this way. In the same way, globally, a kind of legal treaty they want to bring, which is legally binding on everyone. It is not voluntary, like a Paris Agreement. Paris 2015 is a voluntary. Everyone will come up with their INDC targets. This is the what reduction we will do in terms of the greenhouse gases. Then finally it is binding. Once you do the voluntary targets, then finally it is binding. But now the plastic is causing a huge problem to us. They are trying to bring away a legally binding treaty to do away with the plastic, to handle this issue of the plastic. So this was introduced by the UNEP, United Nations Environment UNEP Protection Body. Okay, UNEP. This is a very important factual prelims question. They may ask, Intergovernmental Negotiating Committee is an initiative of what? Okay, they may ask UNESCO or anything, WTO, WHO, they may put different things. It is by the UNEP. Established by the UNEA Resolution 5/14. That means various discussions. So 5/14, UNEA, United Nations and Assembly resolutions. What is that resolution 5/14 they talk about? They may ask simple question. It is related to the plastic life cycle. How we deal with the plastic. Currently deal has not yet happened. They want to make a deal. Simply know what is it, under whose jurisdiction, what is this 5/14? 5/14 is related to this plastic deal. To come up with a legally binding global comprehensive treaty where all the countries participate. Now why the deal is not being happening? Because plastic is a cheaper one. Especially developing countries like India utilize the plastic. And we want funding mechanism. Whenever you say asking us something to eliminate, so provide us funds. We ask for funds. We will say common but differentiated responsibility. Common goal for all of us, eliminating the plastic. But differential responsibility based on the capabilities. We have different capability. So responsibility should be differentiated. This is one of the environmental principles, CBDR. Common but differentiated responsibility. So deal has not yet happened. Have some clarity. Okay, only when anything new being added, then only I'll get into this. Just know Intergovernmental Negotiating Committee, plastic pollution, 5/14 resolution. That's it. Okay, so this is not being moving forward. That's all. So we also have certain pollution control boards. So what are this? You might have heard about this Central Pollution Control Board, State Pollution Control Board, and Pollution Control Committees. This is for the central level, this is for the state level, and these are for the union territories. They will pass and if resolutions pass they will give it a name. Okay, based on the discussion. Okay, 2053 resolution. Okay, nothing relevance. Okay, 5/14 is a name. Based on the discussions, they will give it a name. 5/14 resolution. Okay, on that point of spot, Allah, ante, that is it. Now see, this is a central level body to enforce rules related to the pollution. Very important thing, the CPCB came into the power, is a statutory body through the Water Act, Water Prevention and Control of the Pollution Act, and got the extra powers from the Air Act. So to check the all sorts of the pollutions, Central Pollution Control Board. So whenever industry has to set up, what standards it has to maintain, where they are dumping, whether they are coordinating with the state government or not, who has given the licensing, okay, are they implementing the principles of environment or not, they will be checked by the CPCB. However, it is not doing its job properly. Okay, their capacity is limited. They are not able to monitor all the industries that are present. They are not able to measure the environmental quality standards. Okay, but for the prelims point of view, they will ask CPCB, is it a statutory body or not? Yes, through the Water Act. In the same way, through same acts, you also have the state level SPCB. In the union territories, you have the Pollution Control Committee. Okay, so this is the most important act which is working under the Ministry of Environment. They may ask, it is a statutory body under the Environment Protection Act. No, it is a statutory body under the Air or Water? Water Act. Got additional powers from the Air Act. This is a factual thing. See, Kaleshwaram, since you are in Hyderabad, let's do this very small important thing. Okay, so why this thing is in the news? So whatever the project that is currently going on, see, somewhere nearly 1 lakh crore cost has been incurred. Initially, Pranahita Chevella project, that was a basic thing. But what has happened? What they are doing, basically, at the confluence of the Godavari and the Pranahita river, they are trying to build the water storage reservoirs. Then, to utilize this water storage reservoir, they have to build dams at the multiple places. Now, this is the area of the Peninsular Plateau, weak lithology, not just weak lithology because of the plate tectonics. Normally, because of the lithology, it is very difficult to construct a dam. Already, there is a huge pressure on the rock systems. So, Pranahita Chevella project, that was the initial space. For suppose assume. So, now this is a Godavari and this is a Pranahita. At this confluence, you are developing a dam. Now, initially, let's say project was somewhere here. They, for unknown reasons, not actually the reasons known so far, from here the location have been moved to this another point. So, there is a location change. Because of this location change, it is costing huge to the financial exchequer. And recently, National Dam Safety Authority, they have checked this dams and they are saying their structures are not strong. You have to bring it down. Cracks are found. So already we have spent 1 lakh crores. So now who is accountable? So people say, who is accountable? Few people say, it is not even the decision of the entire cabinet. Few people have arbitrarily given the clearance. So what they are doing, basically it is a huge economic cost. For suppose water is flowing from here, now you have to provide water to this spot. So using the lift irrigation, you are using huge amount of the power to lift the water from here and to provide the water to this area. In this Telangana area, generally see water, you have the irregular topographies. Water will be moving from there on the surface and all. So again, you use the power pumps. You need to lift the water to provide the water in this agriculture fields and all. So huge areas are getting submerged under water. Huge economic cost is there. And whatever the technical department is there, they are saying this area is not suitable for such a huge level of dams. Already cracks are being developed. And why did you shift location arbitrarily from one place to another place? Who has given the permission? And when the technical expertise is given, why it was not accepted? They have said, they have mentioned it clearly, this area is not suitable for such a huge project. Who has given the clearances and why it was not given in the cabinet? So people are saying, critics are saying, it was not a cabinet approved proposal. Only few people have approved it. So this project can be utilized as a case study for the UPSC exam. Okay, and in the state level exam they can ask directly. Kaleshwaram project, TGPSC, if you are supposed to write someday anytime, direct question will come. Godavari and the Pranahita river. See, primarily Godavari starting at this confluence with the Pranahita, and there are certain other tributaries also in this journey, Varda, Penaganga and the Venaganga. Okay. So what is this Kaleshwaram lift irrigation project located on the Godavari river? So they will ask, generally in the UPSC prelims they will ask, it is on the confluence of the Godavari and the Musi, Godavari and the Krishna. This way they will ask. So have the clarity, it is on the Godavari river at the confluence of the Pranahita, which is also its tributary. Okay, see here, it is the world's largest multi-stage lift irrigation. At the multiple places, you have to lift the water to provide the water for the agriculture facilities. Okay, inaugurated in the June 2019 BRS and all. Okay, it harnesses flood water for the irrigation, drinking, industrial uses. Okay, all those things they have given. Okay, see, features 3 barrages. Not necessary if you are preparing for the TGPSC, remember and by heart. Okay, at the 3 places, you are developing the barrages and the reservoirs at those things. Okay, and then pumping storages, multiple purposes and all. So here I have given these things. Just see the map. Okay. So significance, generally all these things are very not that difficult for the economic purposes, water, agriculture. See, issues, place shift from the original plan, shifted from the Pranahita Chevala Sujala Sravanti gravity flow dam at Tumi Dihati to the different place, citing insufficient water in that area. Okay, so they want judicial probe, but we need to understand this thing. So place shift, then structural failures, which we have discussed. That area is developed the cracks, and then cost escalation, and then we have also seen lot of people is getting displaced, and it has been just passed on using the not even involving the entire cabinet into the discussion. Okay, so that is in the news. Just have an idea. Next, another small topic, master of the roster. You have hierarchy of courts. Generally, it is not a kind of Supreme Court will have the total control on the High Court and all, but administrative control will be there. High Court has its own powers. There will be a Chief Justice of High Court. There will be judges in the High Court. In the same way, Supreme Court, there is a Chief Justice of India and other judges. So, Chief Justice of High Court will decide which case should be taken by which judge, how many members bench and all. Okay. So, what has happened in Allahabad, we don't have to get into that whatever the judgment that was passed. Allahabad High Court has passed some judgment and the Supreme Court got angered by that judgment. They have questioned his competency. They said, do not give criminal cases to this particular judge, and whatever the roster is there, that will be decided by the Supreme Court. They said they are not supposed to do it on that manner. Then, okay, that was if it is an isolated manner, that is fine. But then came the questions. Is the Supreme Court trying to control the High Court's power? Take away the High Court's power. Okay, so it has resulted in a lot of controversy. Because of this controversy, Supreme Court has went back. They said we have intervened only citing the technical issues. Okay, to handle the integrity, we are not going to take away the power. Now the same thing, master of the roster, High Court has its own power. Okay, this thing was also confirmed in the various judgments. In the state of Rajasthan versus Prakash Chand case, that is the one thing. And second thing that you are supposed to remember is Tirupati Balaji case. Okay, so Supreme Court limited its Article 227 power over the High Courts, viewing itself as an elder brother for guidance, not dictating administration like rosters. Remember this important judgment. Tirupati Balaji case. This judgment for sure I'll remember. Tirupati Balaji case regarding the master of the roster. Master of the roster, everyone understood? So, who should be the holding which bench? Okay, which judge should be allotted which case? How many members should be taking that case? Who is the master of the roster at the High Court? Chief Justice of the High Court. So in the prelims, if they ask, Supreme Court can decide, change this thing. Is it true? No. Okay. This was settled in the Tirupati Balaji case. In this case, there was a controversy. Supreme Court initially said, yes, it can do initial Supreme Court order. Supreme Court bench quashed an absurd order by the Justice Prashant Kumar in a corruption case, directing a High Court Chief Justice to bar him from criminal matters for institutional integrity. Okay, after CJ intervention, Supreme Court recalled the directive, leaving a roster decision to the High Court CJ and citing a full court resolution for non-compliance. So Supreme Court remarks, so they have withdrawn that thing in the August 8th. That's it. So matter has happened and over. So see, this is advantage. We are not doing daily basis. If we have to do daily basis, then that court has said this thing has said anything like a serial, we have to study. Now everything summarized, done. Master of the roster issue. Clear? Are we clear so far? This article I liked. There was an article on the Goldilocks economy. Okay, so I don't want to get into the entire thing because there is just individual article, but I like the concept the editorial is talking about. See, this is a kind of Goldilocks economy which is very balanced. Okay, the economy which is neither too hot, neither too cold. Neither too hot means it is growing, it may burst. It may result in a huge inflation, producing something and huge inflation and unemployment. US is not the growing economy. It's not a hot economy. Okay, or the scenario is not growing, cold economy. Okay, we are in between. Okay, that is the scenario that we are talking about. So I will use this keyword. I don't have to have this article, just I need to use this keyword. See here, a Goldilocks economy described as an ideal economic condition where growth is steady and moderate, neither too fast to cause high inflation or too slow to trigger the recession or unemployment. It features a balanced GDP, low and stable inflation, near full employment, and supportive monetary policies, creating a harmonious environment for economic progress. Okay, everything is just right. Is India in this scenario? Just I have given the brief analysis, just you can go. So we have moderate GDP, low inflation, okay, and employment is also better. But on the other side, they are saying overall, what is headline inflation? In the headline inflation, we do not take up we consider the every inflation. In the core inflation, generally we don't take up the things which are fluctuating, food and fuel, right? So we don't consider those things in the core inflation. So when we consider the food and fuel prices, they are very high. This article says, so when we get into the volatile food inflation, so despite the CPI is low, but food prices are not that low. And also inflation is growing, but real wages are not growing more than the inflation. Nominal wages might be rising, but real wages compared to the inflation. When we see, for suppose this mobile phone price, okay, from 10,000, it has went to the 15,000. Your salary has went from 10,000 to 12,000. Okay, so because of inflation, it has went to the 15. But your salary, it is only at 12,000. So even if your salary is rising, but still you could not match. So inflation is more than your actual price rise. So this is called real wages are not moving up. It is not able to cross the inflation price. This is what the article is trying to say. Okay, wage stagnation and inequality is also growing. Real wages grew only by 4%, but for the lower segment. And you have the other risk also. Okay. Okay. Take 2 minutes break. I'll also take. Don't go out. Sit here. Just 5 minutes break. Class is still 4:10. Okay. So, okay. 5 minutes break. We will discuss. Huh? I'll take up one more comprehensive topic, geography, groundwaters. Very, very comprehensive one. Next one. So be prepared for that. అర్థం అవుతుందండి అందరికి? ఎవ్రీవన్ అర్థం కావట్లేదా? అర్థం కాకపోతే క్లాస్ వల్ల యు ఆస్క్ మీ డౌట్, ఎక్కడ స్టక్ అయ్యారు ఏంటి అని. ఆన్లైన్ స్టూడెంట్స్ ఫాలో అవుతున్నారా? రివిజన్ చేయండి. ఎనీ డౌట్ యూ గెట్ బ్యాక్ టు మీ. నందిని అర్థం అవుతుందా? ఫాలో అవుతున్నారా? ఆశ్రిత్ ఓకే, వాట్ ఈస్ హర్ నేమ్? ఆశ్రిత అంతే కదా? ఆశ్రిత అంటే అక్కడ మీకు తెన కదా వెనకాల అవిజ్ఞాన. ఓకే ఓకే, అర్థం అవుతుందా? ఫాలో అయ్యారా ఈరోజు క్లాస్? ఓకే, మీ ఇద్దరికి ఓకే. జాగ్రఫీ ఆప్షనలా? ఇటు సైడ్ ఓకే. నవ్య, నేహా, క్లియర్? దిస్ అంటే ఎస్ గోల్డిలాక్స్, వై నాట్ గోల్డిలాక్స్ అని, అంటే బోత్ సైడ్ ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్స్. మీ ఇద్దరు కండి, మీ ఇద్దరి పేరేంటిది? మీ పేరేంటి? శ్రీజ, సౌజన్య. అర్థం అవుతుందా? శ్రీజ అండ్ సౌజన్య. హాట్ మనీయా? అది వేరు, అది ఎఫ్పిఐ గురించి మీరు చెప్తున్నారు ఇక్కడ. అది ఎకానమీ ఈజ్ నాట్ టూ ఓవర్ హీటెడ్ ఆర్ టూ కోల్డ్ అని, అంటే హ్యూజ్ గ్రో అయితే ఇన్ఫ్లేషన్ వచ్చేస్తుంది. ఆ కంటెక్స్ట్ లో చెప్తున్నాను. జాగ్రఫీ, క్లైమటాలజీ ఇలాగే టెక్నికల్ గా ఉంటుంది. ఈ రోజు ఒక క్లాస్ మీకు హెవీ అనిపించింది. సో క్లైమటాలజీ ఎంటైర్ ఆస్పెక్ట్ ఇట్ విల్ బి దట్ హెవీ. ఓకే, So be prepared. Geography is going to be a heavy thing. Geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, ఆ 3 areas బాగా హెవీగా ఉంటుంది. ఆ తర్వాత ఏముండదు ఇంకా. బట్ వన్స్ ఆ రెయిన్ఫాల్ ఎలా వస్తుంది, ప్రిసిపిటేషన్, ఆ కాన్సెప్ట్స్ మీరు అర్థం చేసుకున్నారు, విండ్ సిస్టమ్స్ అంటే థింగ్స్ విల్ బికమ్ వెరీ ఈజీ. ఇవన్నీ థింగ్స్ స్టూడెంట్స్ క్రాష్ కోర్స్ లో ఫినిష్ చేసేద్దాం అనుకుంటారు. ఎంత డిఫికల్ట్ చూడండి. సో ఫ్లాష్ వర్డ్స్ ఇవన్నీ మెయిన్స్, ప్రిలిమ్స్ టు మెయిన్స్ గ్యాప్ లో ఏం అవ్వదు. సో వాట్ మై సజెషన్ ఇస్, ఇప్పటి నుంచే మీరు చదివితేనే అప్పుడు అవుతుంది. ఆ టైం పీరియడ్ లో ఈవెన్ ఇఫ్ ఐ టేక్ ద మెయిన్స్ క్రాష్ కోర్స్ అండ్ ప్రొవైడ్ దిస్ కంటెంట్, అది మెటీరియల్ ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తాను, అదంతా ఇంటర్నలైజ్ అవ్వదు. ఇప్పటి నుంచి మీరు చదువుకుంటే వెళ్తే ఆ టైంకి ఇంటర్నలైజ్ అవుతుంది. సో ఇంటెన్షన్ ఈజ్ మళ్ళీ రిపీటెడ్లీ స్టడీయింగ్ 7 times, 8 times, 5 times అలా అన్నిసార్లు రివిజన్ పడాలి. దెన్ మైండ్ లో సెట్ అవుతుంది. So now we will discuss the groundwater again, but this is a part of the resource geography. This is in the news because of the various things, groundwater pollution and all. ఇది అంత టెక్నికల్ గా ఉండదు. క్లైమటాలజీ ఆస్పెక్ట్స్ టెక్నికల్ గా ఉంటాయి. This will be easy to understand. We'll do the groundwater. So this can be asked even in the GS1 mains. Prelims లో కూడా ఏం అడుగుతారు చూపిస్తా, వాటర్ రిసోర్సెస్ నుంచి. So job option, actually I have asked them to shift to 4:30 సరికి. సరే ఇంకోసారి రిమైండ్ చేయాలి. అంటే ఈ క్లాసెస్ కరెంట్ అఫైర్స్ ఉన్నప్పుడు 4:30కి ఆప్షనల్ టైమింగ్ పెడితే, సో ఇది 4:15 దాకా అన్నట్టు. 1:45 to 4:15. What the Trump is saying this time, now he is visiting Moscow. So మనం కూడా we are meeting the Russia. We are also visiting Russia. So అంటే we need to yeah. So మనం ఇంకా స్ట్రాంగ్ చేసుకుంటున్నాం రిలేషన్షిప్స్ ని. ఓకే, సో మనము ఒకళ్ళ కింద ఉన్నట్టు ఉండదు. సో మనం ఇప్పుడు see what the Ateeq Munir has said from the USA. So if we are going down, we will take half the wall down. If the India develops a dam on the Indus water, so we will take it down with our missiles. How the nuclear threats they are assigning? So completely USA soil nunchi they are, yeah, అదే. So that's what they do. యా ఛాలెంజింగ్ ఉంది, కానీ ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ ఇమీడియట్ పక్కన మనకి పాకిస్తాన్ ఉంది కదా. See, that's what we need to maintain the strategic autonomy. So that's why we balance. We make relationships with everyone. We are developing track 2 కూడా, అంటే people to people things అవన్నీ కూడా అవుతున్నాయి. బట్ ఓవరాల్ స్లైట్లీ లెస్ కల్చరల్ కాంటాక్ట్స్ అవన్నీ ఎంగేజ్మెంట్స్ అవన్నీ పోల్చుకుంటాయి. చైనాతో లేదు. అవును. Yeah, that is there. That happens. Okay, we'll start. ఎక్కడ you can use that as an example. Chalo, we'll start with the simple topic first. See, Asiatic lines. Fatafat Aibar, we have discussed Asiatic lines. Where do we find the Asiatic lines? Faster. Chapman, India. Do we find Asiatic lines only in India? Is the statement correct? We have done already this topic. Okay. We find Asiatic lines only in India. India lo Girnar. Okay. And we homework for each tribe pair entidani. Grasslands గురించి చెప్పాను, అక్కడ ట్రైబ్ పేరు గురించి కూడా చెప్పాను. I mentioned Maldhari tribe. Adi tribe is in Arunachal Pradesh and Gujarat. There is no link. Okay, so you have the Maldhari tribe. They are taking care of the lions. So these are the Asiatic lions. They are only found in India. So why is this thing in the news? There was a occasion where our Minister of Environment were talking about the lions. So basically, as per the recent census, lions population has increased, and because of the increase, it has moved from endangered status to the vulnerable status, IUCN. Okay, this has been moved to long back. So see here, Asiatic lion, it is a subspecies distinct from the Africa lion, found only in the Gir forest. This will be asked. Already they have asked. See, latest census, they have the 16th Asiatic census. Okay, they have increased the lion population. 32% of the population they have increased. Okay, so you can just go through those basic technological methods through which they have seen the population increase. Now see here, how do Asiatic lions differ from the African lions? These kind of questions they will ask. Generally, Asiatic lions are smaller in size than the African lions. Okay, you can just have this basic idea. They have the smaller prides, consider those patches and all. Okay, they are smaller in size compared to the African things. Not the patches or the prides. What do we say exactly? Prides, student? Abhe gaga. Mari ila that would be there. Prides ante. See, ikkada Maldhari tribes gurinchi మనం డిస్కస్ చేసాము. సో ఇక్కడ ఇదంతా we don't have to see. Just see the previously when we discussed about the sacred groves, I have told you like a forest. In the forest, some areas there they try to protect. Here also, see here they'll see this lion as a Lord Narasimha avatar. And these Maldhari tribes are protecting. That's how in India, protection of environment is always linked with the culture, the local people. They naturally protect. These things can be utilized in the essay. We can use in the essays. Cows and all. Okay. So Narasimha, Lord Narasimha, Gir National Park, we need to have the clarity. Okay. Due to sustained conservation, IUCN has moved Asiatic lion from the endangered vulnerable status, from the endangered to the vulnerable status. Okay. Now we also have launched, we have discussed this International Big Cat Alliance. They have launched, they discussed 2023. Where is the headquarters? How many cat species we are going to protect? Revision on the here. How many cat species? Where is going to be headquarters? At least headquarters you have to say. Delhi. Thanks. Okay, true. Okay, so this is our Indian initiative. So we are developing this. Totally 7 species, 7 cat species are going to, we are going to handle in this. Only 5 are found in India. Okay, Puma and one more which is not found in India. Jaguar. Rest all tiger, lion, leopard, all those things. Cheetah also we have introduced recently. Okay. Kuno National Park. Okay, there we have introduced the cheetah. Okay, these are all grassland areas. Try solving this question. This is the 2019 or 2018 PYQ. We have discussed about one-horn rhino. I explained what it is for fact. Okay, first tell me one-horn rhino is found only in India. Huh? Some, okay. Only in Assam? No. Only in India? Nepal, Bhutan, చుట్టుపక్కల కూడా దొరుకుతుంది. Okay, not only in the some. Okay, their majority of the population. So double humped camel. See, generally this thing definitely we know. This is the most important animal that is found only in India. Okay, double humped camel. If that is that much of dominant and only found in India, you would have read somewhere, you would have studied somewhere, you would have come across so far, right? So I will use this kind of logic. If I have studied 1 year properly, if some statement comes like this only found in India, if I am not aware, I have not come across, I will use that logic. If I have gone through all the current affairs properly, I have studied for 1 year properly, but I have not come across the static and all. So maybe it may not. I will take that way guess. I may go wrong, but still I will take guess that way. So answer is 1 only. So now since this option, this statement is mentioned, I'll try to read about it. See, it will look like this. Okay. These are also known as double-humped camel. It is considered as a critically endangered. So this becomes very important. They are found also in the Nubra Valley of the Ladakh. It is listed as a critically endangered on the IUCN Red List. So they are found in the wild. Some animals are also cultivated. When they are domesticated, not cultivated, when they are domesticated, they are not facing any kind of threat. Those animals living in the wild, basically they are used for the tourism purposes. Kashmir ki, Ladakh areas, they prefer using this using this double humped camels, okay, for the ride. Since rhino species, we have discussed various species, rhino species, right? Sumatra rhino, Java rhino, black rhino, white rhino. Okay, see this Indian rhino, it is a vulnerable. You need to remember this, by heart this fact, vulnerable. Rest all these three are critically endangered. Sumatra, Java, black. White, it is near threatened. These are the 5 rhino species we have. Within this, Indian part is vulnerable. Okay, so white is least near threatened. Rest all are critically endangered. So we have discussed their horn have some kind of properties and all. For this, they are hunting, poaching is going on, they are killing this thing. Now recently in Africa, one country has done a kind of experiment. They are putting some kind of radioactive element in their horn, so that can be used as a kind of tracking purpose. South Africa has launched the Rhizotope project, a bold initiative where radioactive isotopes are injected into the rhino horns to prevent poaching and illegal trade. Even if they do the poaching and take away their horns, they will be easily tracked. Okay, see now these things I use this in the innovative methods and all to protect. So usually you will not see UPSC main students writing these kind of key concepts, use of the technology, use of innovation and all. When you use this thing, definitely you are going to get the marks. Previously also I have discussed those elephants. What are those elephants? Where we have discussed about honeybees. Honeybees, not just honeybees. With this we have also discussed where we are training them in Andhra Pradesh. What is the name of the elephant? Kumki elephants. Then I have also discussed about the turmeric farming to move away or drive away the elephants. Okay, these are the innovative methods which are not causing any harm and threats. We have to utilize these things. Okay, so just can go through. See, always remember these things: habitat loss, poaching. These things are always same with all the animals. See, annual Brahmaputra floods always drown 20 plus of the rhinos. Brahmaputra area is known for huge floods. Which river? Godavari. How come Godavari in the Brahmaputra? Brahmaputra river. Okay. Okay, so use this UNESCO World Heritage Site and all. Okay, that's we have discussed already. So I'm going too fast. If you remember, we have discussed this thing: spinal muscular atrophy. What is this? We have discussed rare disorder. Many people, these are very costly treatments and all. Some people, these are the rare disorders, genetic disorders people are facing. Okay, basically what happens is there will be a mutation in SMA gene. There will be a gene known as SMA gene. Okay, so the lack of that proper gene, what happens is your nervous system will affected. Your muscles get weak. So the people's muscles will not be stronger. They will not have coordination. Their muscles will become weak. They will not be able to walk, move, and all their limbs functionality will be affected. And treatment just to provide some kind of injection and all, it will take crores and crores. So So just be aware. SMN1 gene. SMA happens due to the mutation in it's the type of the gene, which makes, understand this call, which makes protein needed for the motor neuron health. We discussed this previously. I thought to again discuss it because it is frequently occurring in the news. Next time you do not forget. Okay. Because I have seen some known person also going through this thing, some person. So again I have picked up. Okay. Most cases occur when both parents pass on the faulty genes. So overall, swallowing difficulty and all, there are various types. You don't have to mug up these things. Just understand, parental screening, diagnosis is done. There is no cure, but treatment slow the disease. So Ricidplam, this is generally a oral drug. In the Kerala, they are trying to provide this thing free of cost. That's why we have discussed this thing recently. When this article has come up in the news, Kerala was basically, they are trying to provide for few patients this drug at the free of cost. Okay. All these are very, very costly. See here, $340,000 per year, $2 million. All these are very highly expensive. Not everyone has access to them. So sometimes when we read these things, okay, when I feel, okay, sometimes even now today I will feel, okay, I didn't get through. Okay, sometimes when it comes. Okay, sometimes few things are not in our hands. We have to move forward. The more we let it go. Okay, chalo, we have. See these kind of scenarios, we are not even affected by these things with God's grace and all. Why some success happens to some people, why bad things happen to these kind of things happen to people? Nothing. There are uncertainties, probabilities, it is going, randomly it is going. Just that we can think, luckily, okay, we are at least, we are having decent, living, okay, we are not affected by these kind, at least our known people, whom we love a lot, our family nearby and all, not having these things. Generally, we should feel that kind of gratitude and we have to move forward. Okay, sometimes when I see this thing, I feel really helpless for those people and all. Okay, so this is one problem. Why this thing I have discussed is because I wanted to discuss genetic engineering, not genetic engineering, gene therapy. Okay, so I have gave you this spinal muscular atrophy and then hemophilia. We have discussed, what is hemophilia? Tell me just, we have discussed this thing previously. We have discussed sickle cell anemia, hemophilia and also leukemia. Tell me what is this?
Leukemia is cancer.
Which cancer? That one. Which cancer? Red blood, red or white?
White blood cells.
White blood cells. Okay, either low or high value of the white blood cells is a leukemia.
They multiply.
There is no sufficient number, leukemia. Okay, white blood cancer. We have discussed what else? We have discussed what are the thrombocytes known for?
For wounds.
Blood clotting and all, right? Then we have discussed sickle cell anemia. What is that?
Red blood cells. It's regarding red blood cells.
Yeah. So whatever the red blood cells are there, they are in a sickle shape, crescent shape. They are not developed properly. This is a genetic disorder causing poor red blood cells. So you have the sickle cell anemia for the red blood cell disorder, leukemia for the white blood cells, and this is for the blood platelets. Okay. Generally, whenever the hemophilia is there, blood clotting does not happen. There will be excessive bleeding happens, and this will go undiagnosed as well. Sometimes some people will see the cut. Okay, they will stop playing the games and all. So blood will not stop. The clotting is not happening, continuously going on. That is different thing, but this is because of the poor genetic issue. Okay, this is there. So that is the part I need to understand. See, when you go into the prelims exam hall, so this is how we will revise. So we need to see leukemia. If you are going blank, that day we have discussed about the blood cells, hemopoietic stem cells. I have discussed classification. I have discussed. Please revise that. I think the 1 week 10 days back itself I have discussed. Okay, there is no point again discussing the same aspect. We have to move forward. Please revise that aspect. See, hemophilia A, B, C. See, these are the factors. Especially factor 8 is the most common. Okay. Within your blood, there is something is missing. There is a factor 8. This is a genetic related issue. Okay. So remember, hemophilia A, B, C is primarily the factor 8. Okay. Factor 9, factor 11 is also there. Primarily the problem is factor 8. 1 in 10,000 people is getting affected. So prolonged bleeding is happening. And the joint deformities and all, everything is happening. Okay, diagnosis, we need to do the diagnosis, and finally, see this, why this thing I have taken up, this is in the news. Prophylaxis. Okay, generally, this is usually, if we go for the normal treatment, it is very costly. If you identify the problem of this uncontrolled bleeding is happening, and if you address this thing early, there is a treatment of prophylaxis, a kind of infusion of the clotting factors. This thing can be a slightly low costly factor. This can be done regularly, and if you identify this thing in the early diagnosis happens, this treatment can be done. So they can ask simply prophylaxis recently in the news related to what? Okay, try to understand the concept of the prophylaxis. This was because of this thing I have taken up. Clear? Prophylaxis? Are we clear? No, now let's revise the, I am going back to the basic. This is called the current affairs plus. So where I am getting into concept of the gene therapy. See, we have discussed this thing previously. Someday, definitely, I will organize all the science and technology, what all we have discussed. I will say, see, science and technology is done. Okay, so we have done a lot, science and technology. Then one day, I will try to compile all of them, I will organize them, all of them. We will revise once in a very rapid manner. We will try to revise those things. Then it will settle in your mind. I will put them in a structured manner. I will show you how many topics we have done in the disaster management, security issues, and then science and technology, governance. We will do that. See what is happening that we have already discussed. Okay, so you have a kind of code ATCG, ATCG, like this. You operate, you function based on the code. Based on your genetic structure, everything will happen. This is nothing but this is the code that is there. Okay, like this, there is so many structures in your body. So many genetic codes are there in your body, which will give the code for your body to function. We have discussed the manufacturing of protein happens outside the nucleus of the cell. It is at the which point you have the nucleus, cell is there, this is the nucleus, here you have the genetic material. Generally, in your entire body, you have millions and millions of cells. Within the cell, you have the nucleus. Here you have your chromosomes. Within those chromosomes, DNA is there. On those DNA strands, you will have this kind of coding structures, which is nothing but the genes. Okay, these individual structures are called genes, where coding is done. What hair color, what face color, whatever it is. Okay, how my nails should grow, what kind of operation, how much height I might get, everything. So from where you are getting? From the parents, from the mother half, from the father half. So not everything will be, see, again they are getting from their parents, not everything can be manifested. Sometimes you might be having that gene in you, but it is not getting manifested, it is not being shown. Okay, so because of your genes only, your body functionality is happening. Some error goes when this coding is happening, something is, so your body is not able to read. So you will get the genetic disorders like it is happening. We have discussed about the SMA gene 1 for the spinal muscular atrophy. We have discussed about the thalassemia, whatever the leukemia we have discussed, and blood clotting issue we have discussed. So because of the genetic disorders we have discussed. Now what is the gene therapy? Gene therapy at the micro level. For suppose this is a faulty gene, I will correct this thing. At the micro level, either I can take out the cells, outside I can do, or within the body itself I can send the vector and I will ask the vector to generally hit into this area. Okay, some vector, it will hit into this area and it will repair the code, replacing the faulty gene with the right gene. You are not affecting the entire genome. The sum total of all the genes is called genome. We are not targeting entire thing. Wherever it is faulty, we are just trying to repair it, replace the bad code with the right code. So it will resolve so many problems. Now for suppose there are two types of the cells in your body, somatic cells and the germ cells. If I make changes in the somatic cells do not participate in the reproduction. Germ cells participate in the reproduction. If I make changes in the germ cells, it will be transferred to the next generation. So any kind of gene therapy, primarily currently it is only restricted to the somatic cells. The changes has to be restricted to myself only, because we do not know. You are currently, you know only knowledge that this gene, this function of this particular gene is this thing. So this is not working properly, you are making code. But you do not understand its thing in the entirety. Just you know in a fragmented way. So we don't want to transfer this change in code structure to the next generation. So am I clear so far? Somatic cell, germ cell, clear? In which cell transfer happens to the next next generation? In the germ cells. That's it. See here. So gene therapy is a cutting-edge medical approach that modifies a person's gene to treat or prevent diseases like hemophilia. It works by introducing, removing or editing the genetic materials in the cell to correct the faulty genes responsible for the disorders. So example they have given. So gene therapy, somatic cell gene therapy and the germinal gene therapy. They modifies the reproductive cell, allowing the it can be transferred to the next thing. So ex vivo and the in vivo means I am taking out the cells. We have discussed about the CAR T cell therapy where T cells they are taken out and they are getting modified so that they target the cancerous cells. These are the T cells are known for what immunity, fighting the infections. We have seen T cells and B cells that they have given you the classifications. White blood cells are known for the immunity. B cells, T cells we have discussed. We have also discussed other cells also, neutrophils, basophils. They can be asked. Please go through. Okay. So that is the thing we are taking outside in the lab, modifying, again infusing it in the body. Okay. So now what are the advantages? See here, genetic orders, quality of the life, overall rare diseases can be improved. Medical costs can be reduced. Overall, you are improving the quality of the life. Now, what are the challenges? Okay, so we are yet to develop the cost-effective manner. Okay, though they are cost-effective, still we are in the making sure it is reaching to the masses. Still, we have not developed to that level. Okay, cost-effectiveness, making it cost-effective. Second thing, I want to repair this gene, but unknowingly somehow I targeted this thing. Okay. So this will lead to the mutations, cancer. Precise targeting is a challenge. And how your body responds. For suppose you have done the correction here, what happens is eventually your body might again come back to the original thing. So we do not know what are the long-term implications. This can lead to the cancer. Mutations can happen. Collateral damages. Exactly targeting to that level of technology is the thing we have. In the next session, someday we will discuss genome editing and the tool CRISPR-Cas9 technology. See, basically, at the larger scale, the people are going to that extent that they are going for the designer babies. I want Katrina Kaif kind of eyes, okay, Hrithik Roshan body. So like this, designing the baby, okay. So this much of height, 6 feet and all, nothing natural. Okay. So they are entering into that ethical kind of concerns. Okay. So here we are talking only about the therapy. We have not entered into the genome editing. We will do when the genome editing I say, see those advantages also we have. Drought resistant, pest resistant or biofortified foods, which someone has asked, biofortification. Okay, currently we are not going through the proper complete gene editing, only through the crossbreed and all. Okay, we are going hybrid varieties and all. We are not utilizing changing the modifications done at the genetic level. Okay, so but I am saying there is a utility, not just as genetic orders. We can also utilize these genes to modify things in a way we want. We can make sure we are preparing a coal which is not releasing the carbon dioxide when it is burnt, utilized. So there is so much utility in the gene therapy, but there are challenges which we will deal it in the next class. Okay. So these are the challenges: safety risk, delivery issues, high cost, ethical and access issues, technological limits. Okay. So these things clear?
Yes, sir.
So these are the easy topics. See, where things are easy, there I will go fast. Where things need time, I will try to take more time. Yeah. Okay, we will do these things. This will take a few more minutes. Groundwater, the bigger topic, next time I will go. ASEAN, we have discussed already. Those 10 countries should be on your fingertips. Okay. So how it is came into the picture? Through the Bangkok Declaration. This word is very important. Certain things, Washington Consensus, Beijing Consensus, Bangkok Declaration. Okay, one of the IR word. Washington Consensus means they want to bring more liberalism. Liberalism means open the economy, free trade on the economic front. Beijing Consensus, they say state-led capitalism. Capitalism, okay, but only state. Okay, state will decide which companies, government companies and all. Beijing Consensus, Washington Consensus. I will ask again. It is not a small word, just I have given like this. Those words has to be utilized in the answer. Any word which I say in the class, everything is going to give you the mark. Not in a single word I say which is irrelevant to your exam. Okay, everything I will sit, every fact will be utilized, will be helpful for the prelims. I will not go little deviation. If I spend 2 hours, my intention is What if you have to read this much content? It should take at least for you 3 days. That is my target. If it is taking less than that, then I have not done my work properly. Okay, that way I will keep my target. So within 2 hours, you should be able to get that level of knowledge. So every word I deliver, it is relevant for your exam. Precisely what is most relevant only I am delivering. Okay, so focus in my class. Keep it on a high alert for those 2 hours. Only weekly 2 sessions. So these are the 10 group of countries that should be very clear. So these are the things we have seen. Myanmar is also there. Then you see those boundaries. Okay, Malaysia, Thailand, this thing we have seen today. Laos is a landlocked. Vietnam. Then these countries are always in the fight. Now for us, these countries for once, we have not opened up the economy. We have, okay, 4, 5, till 4, 10. We have not, understand this concept. We have not opened up the economy initially. We basically followed a kind of socialism where states, PSUs were playing major role. But these countries, they have opened up economy. By the time of 1990s, they were growing very fast. Investments were coming from America and all. Only after 1990s, we thought, when we have initiated LPG reforms, when we thought of globalization, then we thought we need to make deals with these countries. We need to open up the markets because or else we will lag behind. They are all developing a proper supply chain mechanism. So for suppose if they have to develop a laptop, semiconductor someone is developing, integrated chips someone is developing, whatever the isolated chips someone else is developing, battery someone else is developing. So from different countries, they are finally doing at one place. So with this agglomeration, overall cost is coming down. If you cannot take down those people who are there 5, 10 countries working together, you are not in their supply chain. Obviously, whatever the product you prepare, definitely it will be more than their cost. The cost is lower for them because 10 companies have come together in a properly planned manner. We will develop this thing. So in the 1990s, we have realized this thing. Especially for the trade purposes, economy purposes, we have opened and we have started economy with them. Okay. Look East policy we have initiated in the 1990s. But 2014, we have given it a momentum. It is an Act East policy where we are not just focusing on the economy. We have realized for the security purposes, in order to balance the China, we need relationship with the Philippines. We need relationships good with the Brunei. And for the trade purposes, we have studied Kaladan Multimodal Project. Which country? Kaladan Multimodal Project. Which country we are including? Ganesh. Myanmar, Kaladan, to bypass the Bangladesh. We have discussed this thing when I was talking about the Rohingya refugees. Kaladan, so we are struggling. Okay, please revise. Kaladan is the most famous project. So to connect to the northeast, see the significance of the ASEAN countries. We are focusing on Myanmar. Okay, because to reach out to the northeast, Bangladesh is saying we are not going to give you the access. So we want for the trade connectivity purposes, these is ASEAN countries. To control the China, we want ASEAN countries. To improve our trade, we want ASEAN countries. To strengthen our Indo-Pacific sea lanes of route, we want these things. And to sell our defense products, now we are selling the BrahMos to the Philippines. We again need the control or we need partnership. So we have the significance. Slowly we have opened up. We started to engage with these ASEAN countries and slowly we have opened our economies. We have signed the free trade agreement. Okay, see here. Through us, first, these ASEAN was formed through the Bangkok Declaration. These are called as the tiger economies. They grow very fast. In 1997, these tiger economies faced a crisis because they were globalized, but we have not globalized. Okay, in the 1997, they faced huge crisis because all the FDI withdrawn, some crisis and they withdrawn. Our economy, anyway, we have not got connected and we have not struggled. Okay, so see here, significance of the ASEAN, strategic, quad partner, economic significance, which I have discussed, connectivity, this is what I said, India, Myanmar, Thailand highway, and also the Kaladan multimodal project. We have discussed it previously. I want you guys to revise what is this Kaladan multimodal. Defense purposes, we have also initiated selling up of our defense products, cooperation of the defense products and all. Okay, and then people to people contact, cultural contacts and all. Now, why this thing in the news is FTA, free trade agreement deal we have made, but this deal is not helping us. That means we have seen this thing previously, we are discussing with them to renegotiate the free trade agreement. If you remember, we have discussed inverted duty tariffs, where if you import complete product, if you import laptop, the price is low. If we import
Arts.
any parts, individual parts for the manufacturing of laptop in India, the import cost is high. This is an inverted duty tariff structure. So ideally, the raw material cost should be low so that we develop the laptops. But this is not happening. And China is not part of this free trade agreement. What China does is, so they will set up the industry in these 10 countries and they are setting. So we are not able to identify where this product is originating. Rule of origin, we are finding difficult. China's products are coming through the Southeast Asia into India. We are struggling. And second thing, we are not benefiting from this free trade agreement. They have, like Trump is saying, we have the trade deficit. India is also saying with ASEAN, we have the huge trade deficit. We are importing huge, but we are not able to export. So we are discussing with them trade negotiations. That's why it is in the news. Are we clear? So revise this content. I will take up again. So by then, please revise Kaga multimodal and all. So that day, we will do on the board brainstorming, significance of the ASEAN. Then I will discuss the India and the Philippines in the previous document. Then I will get into the geography topic. Thursday, we will have the next session. Okay, I know I am going little slow because it is required, some areas. Okay, that's all. Thank you.